start. Yeah. Get that. Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Road to Rise, where instead of talking about the movies that happened before, we're talking about the movies that are happening before. But in the same trilogy, and topping it off with Rise of Skywalker that just came out this past weekend. We will basically be giving our thoughts of episodes 7, 8, and 9. And kind of giving us talking about our overall views of the sequel trilogy, ups and downs, lefts and rights, diagonal, horizontal, however we feel about it, you will know. So, it's kind of a smaller ensemble today. We have, Tyler.
Hi.
We have TJ.
Yeet.
And we have TJ's other brother, Christian. Yeah, you have another brother.
Do they know this?
Yeah, they do
They
now.
know this part of the lore?
Yeah, they do now.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
They don't know who the other one
I
is.
created an entire lore book for you before this video
Yeah, it was on
came
page
out.
74, did you not?
Yeah, see? Come on, he read it. Way to support me, Tyler.
I don't think
Thank
I
you.
need to read my own lore book.
You know,
Can you even read?
Yes.
Anyway,
Actually.
so yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. I will add a timestamp if you don't want to hear about Force Awakens or Last Jedi. I will add a timestamp that jumps directly to our discussion of Rise of Skywalker. But we are going to be talking about the entirety of the sequel trilogy. So let's briefly get into this here, starting with Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Movie came out in 2014, directed by J.J. Abrams, my man. I love J.J. Abrams. And is a continuation of the, Skywalker story, and was met with very, very positive reviews when it first came out. And then, of course, everyone started slowly kind of jumping on the hate train just because, just the same thing for Endgame and all that stuff. But yeah, let's get into initial thoughts. So, Tyler, what did you think of Star Wars: The Force Awakens?
So, the first movie in any trilogy is usually almost always a safe, they back themselves into like a safe spot where it's like, oh, this is the first of the trilogy, so it's gonna set stuff up that, we'll only get into more deeper later.
Mm-hmm.
When this movie first came out, I enjoyed it. I saw it twice. I saw it the day it came out, and then I think I saw it either the next day or 2 days later, and then in 3D, which was pretty cool. I like seeing it in 3D. Which is Rise of Skywalker in 3D?
Yes, it is.
Because I think
Every
I might want to watch
movie's
that.
in 3D.
Yeah.
I don't like 3D.
I'm not too big on 3D, but there are especially some scenes
The
that...
beginning with in Force Awakens when Rey's sliding down the sand.
Oh yeah, and going through the Star Destroyer and all that
and
stuff.
scavenging.
No, that'd be cool.
But yeah, so like it introduced us to these new characters. A lot of people complained that it was felt that the plot was, similar to previous movies in the Star Wars franchise.
New Hope.
And which, I mean, if you really want to sit there and like think about it, like, yeah, maybe a little bit, but at the same time, new characters and new, to a newer generation that hasn't seen it, it's just easier for these people to get into it. I enjoyed it for the most part. I don't think, trying to remember back on anything, I don't know. I'm also not the biggest Star Wars fan, but as a casual Star Wars fan, I liked it.
All right. What'd you think, TJ, after rewatching it recently?
It's okay. I was never like a big fan of it. I think I played it way too safe, and it's really similar to A New Hope, and I think A New Hope is a way better film, so that didn't do it any favors. For the characters, not a big fan of them either. And that's like the biggest issue I have with this trilogy.
I liked Poe.
Is that I don't care about many of the characters, and that just got worse as it went on. Like, in this movie, I really, I like Kylo.
I was gonna say, I think it's
which is a constant throughout the trilogy for me. I like Han Solo and Chewbacca. and I liked Finn in this one, and that's kind of it. For me, Poe is just kind of there. Rey, never been a big fan of.
Well, Phasma.
Don't talk to me.
We don't have to talk about that.
Don't like Phasma at all.
Yeah.
Hux is just kind of there, but this is the movie he was best in.
Yeah.
Which isn't saying much.
No.
Unfortunately.
No, not at all.
Starkiller Base, just a bigger Death Star. I do really like the scene where Kylo kills Han, though. It's
yeah.
like the best scene in the trilogy by far.
That's a really good. Yeah, that is a really good scene.
Yep.
I agree. And really well acted by both of them. Adam Driver's a really good actor, and of course, obviously, we know Harrison Ford is.
And he got what he
When
wanted.
he wants to be.
Fair. What do you think, Christian, of The Force Awakens?
I think that, in general, it's an enjoyable movie. Like, there's things that are obviously good, things that are bad, but overall, it's a generally good experience. However, one main criticism that I have is that the three supposed main characters don't really interact with each other. Like, Poe barely does anything with Rey in that movie.
He doesn't do anything with Rey. He introduces himself to Rey in Last Jedi.
Which literally makes no sense to me,
I
but
know,
we'll get into
'cause
that.
He's like right next to her.
We'll literally get into that when we talk about that absolute monstrosity, but we're going to talk about it as short as possible because I want to get into Rise of Skywalker, not the nightmares of Star Wars past. So, but yeah. But no, continue with what you were...
That's just about it, really.
Yeah, alright, that makes sense. I think I like this movie more than... based on everyone's initial reactions, everyone in the room. Yes, it follows similar story beats of A New Hope, but I feel like, I don't know, a different coat of paint and slightly newer characters. Like, for example, Rey isn't a clone of Luke. Rey is the exact opposite of Luke.
She doesn't know who she is.
Luke wants to leave Tatooine. Rey literally wants to stay on Jakku. She doesn't want to leave because she's waiting for her parents. And, so, that doesn't really... Like, I see the similarities, but I don't see it as much as like, a lot of people do. Up until recently, I've been thinking about it, and, like, I actually really like Rey. I don't think she's anywhere close to Anakin. Anakin's just a meme, honestly. I don't know. It's like in Revenge of the Sith, he's good, but we already talked about all that.
Clone Wars.
And no one beats Luke, in my opinion. So he's close. He is close, but
Palpatine?
also close.
Vader?
They're all close, homie. What do you want from me? Luke is the best. He learns from, like, all of them except for Palpatine. So, like, I don't know. I think Rey is she's really likable. All the actors do a good job with what they're given. They're charismatic. The humor in this movie does not get in the way of its plot, in my opinion, or in the way of any tension. In super serious scenes, it is serious until the very end. There is no humor in it. When Han dies, and that whole sequence of him talking to Kylo Ren, not a single ounce of humor. There's no music. It is just those two on a one-on-one, and it is really, really good. Unlike the next movie that we'll be talking about, where for some reason they think comedy is way more important than tension in a series that has a lot of intense moments, or supposed to have intense moments, but, whatever. I like the questions that we had, that appeared, kind of like, in a way, who is Snoke? A couple other questions like who were Rey's parents and all that stuff. I was curious, especially when the movie first came out. And I think the reason why I like this movie more than most is because, honestly, back in 2013, 2014, I didn't really like Star Wars. I didn't.
Nani?
Yep. For some weird reason, I was really into it when I was younger. Like, I still have Revenge of the Sith on DVD. and I used to always watch it, and I would always skip to like the battle scenes and stuff. But I don't know, like something happened when middle school hit, and like I thought Star Wars was stupid. I guess
Became
because
too cool.
I don't know, because the people.
Imagine losing interest in Star Wars.
I don't know,
Could not be me.
the people around me, I guess, didn't like Star Wars, so I guess kind of like
We're hanging out with the
hopped
wrong
on the
people.
Different groups.
yeah.
Wow, Brennan, you changed.
Yeah, okay, I did, because I love Star Wars again. Because, I got my head out of my ass and was like, wait a minute. And The
This is
Force
who I am.
Awakens helped me with that. Because, like, when I saw the first Force Awakens trailer, I was making fun of it. I was like, Star Wars, stupid. I was like, what's Kylo Ren's lightsaber? That's stupid. Paying no mind to the fact that I
I
bought
didn't
a
know who
replica of
Kylo
it.
Ren was until the movie came out. I remember seeing toys on the shelves. I'm like,
Yeah.
who the hell is
Then,
this
like,
guy?
Captain
I've never seen this guy before.
Yeah, then like Captain Phasma, I was like, who's this chrome trooper over here? I was like, wow, so cool. And then for some reason, when the trailers kept coming out, I was like, okay, maybe I want to see it. Maybe I want to see it. And did I see it with you?
No.
No, I
This
saw
was
it
before
with.
we started seeing movies.
Yes, this was before we were friends. No,
Good
no.
old days.
Oh damn! No, I saw this with Griffin. I saw this with Griffin and a couple of our friends. I think Cole as well. And like I had such a good time at the movie theater that it completely revitalized my energy for the series. So like right after that, I was like, prequels, gotta watch them. Original trilogy, gotta watch them. Clone Wars, I'll watch it. I'll watch a bit of it. Now I'm gonna start watching it. Now I think I'm gonna start watching them, like the episodes that do matter first, because there's a whole list of like all the ones that are supposed to be like chronological. Yeah, because I don't know, some of the filler episodes I've watched so far, I
Sure.
genuinely
Some
don't
filler
like.
episodes that you can pretty much tell if you don't want to watch it by the thumbnail.
Basically, yeah, that one I
which-
sent you a text of when I was watching it. I was like, this episode's trash. But that's true. But no, like I genuinely like The Force Awakens. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't
We've
think
passed on all
beats
we
the
know.
original trilogy. I don't, I definitely don't think that. But no, I find enjoyment in
1,000
movies when I
generations
watch it
live in you
recently. I
now.
only had as much fun as I did when I saw it in the theaters. I laughed at the parts I laughed at originally in BB-8, popping out his lighter and doing the thumbs up.
This is your fight.
It's funny.
And like I said, it was the first of the new trilogy, so it's like,
Yeah.
we all kind of have to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, this is just
Yeah, that's what's supposed to be. So we gotta do scores first. So on a final verdict, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate?
Your journey.
It was enjoyable.
Yes, it's
watching
in.
a big enough film to care.
TJ. What about you? I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. It's over. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm giving it. I'm going to give it an 8 as well. I completely agree. I think it's genuinely
I've not kept
good.
track of your scores. I need to go back and make
Uh,
sure you're
you-
not making some blasphemous
Well, he
statements.
said that you gave New Hope a 7. Yeah, you gave New Hope a 7 because you thought that the ending
right,
was boring.
You did that.
No, I thought.
Okay,
the-
to be
the
fair though,
ending, I
all
did,
these
yeah.
scores like you can't really compare
wasn't
them
bored
because
in
it's
this
kind of
movie.
like because there are many different terms for like an 8 or
Yeah.
like a 7. It depends on what you like enjoy
And
out
it's
of
all
it.
comes down to personal preference. Like,
Exactly. Like
a lot of it. That whole ship scene at the end didn't bore a lot of people, but I couldn't get
Yeah.
into it.
like scores are varied, all right? Because if I say like like Empire Strikes Back is a 10 and then like I can still find as much enjoyment in a movie I've given an 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like there are things that just detract it from being a 10, but like I said, you can still have as much fun with an 8 movie or a 7 movie than you can with a 10.
All right, let's
Yeah,
just
so
start
get off my
talk-
case.
All right,
Yeah.
well, let's just start talking about the 0 out of 10 already.
Yeah, I think we all are. Actually, no, you and I are going to have the same score for this movie. Tyler's not going to have the same score.
Oh no.
But now we're going to have to talk about the movie that should have been extremely good and had a lot of hype surrounding it. TJ and I were very excited.
And our
when,
dreams came true.
Yeah, definitely in a perfect world,
Yeah,
except it
stayed
didn't.
in my dreams.
Star Wars: The Last Jedi was a film directed by Rian Johnson, a rather unknown director at the time. He
Should've
had
stayed that
movies
way.
like Looper with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis. Had like mediocre reviews. And basically is supposed to continue the story. Rey finally gets to Luke Skywalker at the end of The Force Awakens and is ready to train to be a true Jedi. And meanwhile, at the same time, Kylo Ren is supposed to be desperate to find Luke Skywalker and Rey because he wants to destroy the Jedi Order. And what we got was entirely different. Tyler, what was your initial thoughts of this movie?
My initial thoughts the first day I seen it, I liked it.
Okay. It's okay, TJ. We gotta be mindful. We gotta
Listen
respect
and
each
listen.
other's opinions.
So I liked it the first day of the movie theater. Then after I saw it, I realized everyone was talking so poorly about it, and I kind of jumped on the bandwagon as well and was like, yeah.
yeah.
Hey, yeah. And I mean that's part of the reason why I still haven't watched any reviews on Rise of Skywalker, even though I've seen the movie, because I don't want it to alter my review. But it definitely altered how I looked at Last Jedi until I recently rewatched it again, and then realized, wait, I actually don't hate it though.
It's okay, TJ. Breathe.
So I do feel in the same boat with Mark Hamill on how they portrayed Luke's character, specifically how Rian Johnson viewed Luke's character, was probably one of the most major annoyances I've had in rewatching The Last Jedi. The other one being Rose. I didn't like Rose. And then at the end, when she was trying to be cute and try to save Finn from sacrificing himself, I think she was dumb. I think that it was good for Finn's character development to do what he did, and it was like the build-up was there, and I'm like, yeah, you crash your ship into that ground Star Destroyer.
Battering ram. It's a battering ram.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
And then
yeah,
instead,
you do
even
that.
though
And then she
she's
comes out of
going-
nowhere.
She's going back
and
to the door and then
whips
goes
it,
super speed
and
back
just
to
crashes
hit
into him.
Yeah.
You know, risking both of their
We
lives.
talking about, dude,
I'm
the
like,
ship has a hyperdrive.
You're dumb.
Yep.
And then she kind of just like, and he's like, what? He's like, what the hell would you do that for? And she just kisses him. I'm like, that was the most forced thing ever.
Get
And I
it.
didn't even want it.
Forced.
And she kissed him.
Yeah!
But I don't know, because I mean, I think he would have been better off sacrificing himself. Now that I've watched Rise of Skywalker and kind of the roles that he placed him in, it kind of was just like he didn't really do much. And
Yeah.
we'll get back into that, but it's just they kind of just put him with Poe basically the whole time. They had like a little bromance thing going on, and then when that wasn't happening, he was just with like minor characters. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, I'd be like, "Oh, hey Ray, what's going on?"
I mean, every once in a while, he just screams Ray.
Yeah, basically. TJ, what do you think of The Last
Hate it.
Jedi?
Worst movie. Horrible Star Wars movie. Did everything wrong. Butchered Luke. Still hate Ray. Rose? No. That entire section with Finn and Rose? No. Phasma's somehow worse. Snoke? No, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
He can't tell that the metal lightsaber is turning on his metal chair.
I can feel it.
Towards
He's going
him.
to destroy his one true enemy.
Turning his lightsaber.
Snoke just bullies Kylo, and then he gets mad and breaks his cool helmet.
Alright, that was a cool, special effect, though. When he, punched it and the whole thing just...
Yeah,
Like,
his
that was
helmet's
cool.
pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same helmet, just with red lines, which
Made it cooler, though.
Ooh, and then he takes it off.
Yeah.
For most of that
it's
film.
pretty fit. What?
What, for Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so, I mean... Listen, I like Adam Driver, okay? Right? He only has a helmet on when he needs it on. I mean, come on.
Except when he's, crashes. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
Maz is in it for 2 seconds.
Who?
Yeah, Maz.
Oh, yeah.
Character that's just kind of there.
Yep.
The new character they introduce in Ray and Finn's subplot. I don't even know his
Ray
name.
and Finn?
Not Ray.
Rose and Finn.
Should have been Ray and Finn. Maybe then it would have been slightly better.
Yeah.
But, Rose and Finn, that guy, he doesn't do anything.
DJ.
Yeah.
Waste of an actor, by the way.
Hux, he's just getting bullied. Everyone's getting bullied in this film, including me, because I was watching it. It was horrible.
Understandable.
The ending.
Whoa.
Luke
Stop.
dies.
No, please stop. No.
In the worst way. He, instead of, lifting up the X-Wing that they showed in a scene, that he could have flown there and actually showed up and fought Kylo. No. Instead, he just force projects himself, dodges Kylo a couple times, says, "See you around, kid," and dies anyway. He doesn't actually see him around.
Yeah.
Rey's still a god with no training. She swung on a rock and, got hit with some grass. That's Jedi training these days.
Hey, man. It's been a while since the Jedi were in their prime. we have to go back to more primitive methods of training.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some TIE fighter pilots kill Akbar. And Leia Mary Poppins back into the ship. Horrible. Oh my god.
Oh, the CGI was so bad too. She was just like, "Ooh." Like someone went on like Adobe Photoshop and just recorded them grabbing the mouse and
just
dragging it to the next part. They added a couple rocks too to move around.
Yep.
It's like a low bit animation you'd do for like a graphic arts project for your final. Oh Jesus.
Oh yeah, they also bully Poe in this film.
Who?
Oh my god, that lady, I can't stand
Holdo?
Isn't that your favorite
Bro,
character?
they even bullied Holdo though.
Yeah, and then
Now, what are you
when
talking
everything
about?
was okay, and then she was like, "No, that was a plan all along."
No, I actually
That's the way
had
I
this
wanted,"
plan
and
that
I'm
I
like,
didn't
I
tell
still never
any
liked
of you,
that.
including Poe, our best pilot.
Yep.
Exactly.
Weird, man.
The whole reason Starkiller Base is destroyed is because of Poe fucking
Weird, man.
Dameron.
But because he
But
lost...
if you watch the next movie, I'm not gonna say because spoilers, but it just makes it all hand in hand. Just makes sense.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
And then,
guys
we'll
later.
talk about it.
you know, she's so mad at Poe because he lost some useless bombers that traveled at 2 miles an hour and didn't have shields.
Yep.
And would have died going back to the ship anyway.
Yep. They literally, the only thing they'd be useful against is Ewoks, but then even then,
Nah,
I'm sure-
Ewoks would have beaten them.
Yeah.
They have sticks.
Yeah, Ewoks took down an entire empire
Oh
with
my
speeders and
God.
ATSTs and Jesus.
Yeah, and then, and then there's Luke trying to kill Ben in his sleep.
Totally.
Because he had some bad thoughts,
Yeah, he started listening to My Chemical Romance. He looked on his Spotify history, his search history, and it was My Chemical Romance and Black Veil Brides, and immediately he was like, "Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the path to the dark side."
It's the path of the dark side.
I don't mind that.
I gotta kill my nephew. He's too dangerous. But Darth Vader, the genocidal maniac that slaughtered people for 20 years,
But
he can come back to the light.
he saw Kylo as even more dangerous than that. Though.
How?
He didn't do anything.
I don't
He
know.
didn't
How,
do
I don't know
anything.
why. I'm just saying that's
He
how.
killed some
That's just how they
faceless
portrayed
nobodies.
it. They made it seem like he was the darkest.
Bro, the
deepest.
dude straight up had a nightmare. If you make that argument, Luke on Dagobah, when he had
He
that
should have killed
vision,
himself.
He felt it in the Force.
Yeah, he should have just killed himself if he saw Vader show up and then hit Vader, and immediately it was him in there, and he'd be like, "Oh my God, I'm Vader," and should have just seppuku.
He went off and lived on an island and became a hermit.
Oh yeah, he went onto an island and then he tells Rey, "You think I came to the most unfindable place in the galaxy to be fine?" He left a map. He left a map to where he was going. And in this movie, he says he didn't want to be found.
He put it in the droid that he loves most too.
Oh my god!
And made like, all right, we can't
the
get
most
too far into this,
acknowledgement
though.
he gives of Han is he asks where he is.
No, it's a deleted scene.
Is it in the movie?
No.
Oh, weird, man.
Oh. So
oh my god,
so then-
this
Therefore,
movie's
not-
horrendous.
to continue.
Oh wait, but Yoda's good.
Oh yeah, Yoda's good.
That's
Shout out to Puppet Yoda.
He's in there for a minute.
He's a hot minute. Hot minute. Strikes down lightning. Hot minute.
Weird man.
His performance was electric. That's the kind of humor
He
we're
ruined
dealing
the
with.
scene. It's bad.
So, what did you think, Christian, of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi?
My initial thoughts were already kind of bad because I saw like Force Awakens and Last Jedi after Last Jedi already came out, like months after.
Yeah.
So, already knew it was bad. Still think it's bad. That's basically that.
Bad.
Understandable. This movie, TJ and I share the exact same carbon copy 100 and 1,000 bajillion quadrillion quintuplillion % opinion on this.
That's a number. Look at that.
It's a number. Look it up.
It's accurate for this.
This movie is bad. It is awful. I don't understand why they okayed a script like this. Luke straight up looked at the face of the Dark Lord of the Sith, the one that literally caused his dad to turn to the dark side, the one who caused the entire Jedi Order to fall, the one who basically ruined his entire life because he manipulated his dad to becoming a terrifying Dark Lord that slaughters children and random innocents left and right because Palpatine tells him to.
Well, technically, he did that before.
True, but he looked at Palpatine dead in the eye, Luke, and was like, I'm not turning to the dark side. He had that much willpower. And in this movie, a teenager made him completely change that. How? Why? I don't get it. I don't understand why that was even a thing. I hate that Luke threw his lightsaber. Makes no sense to me. If anything, he should have just given it back to Rey. That's how the scene probably should have ended. If he just looked at his lightsaber and maybe his hands were shaking because he regretted what happened, and then gave it
off from the Force.
and then gave it to Rey and then walked away.
That's
an easy way to get. Yeah, he
made
made
backwards.
Instead, Ryan's like, all right,
it's
so this
Marvel
is gonna be
humor.
Really funny.
It is literally Marvel humor, and I hate Marvel humor. Marvel humor sucks. When it's in a bad Marvel movie, it's even worse. When it's in a good movie, it's still fairly obnoxious. Like Endgame's humor annoys me. But, whatever.
I agree to disagree.
No, I know. I'm just saying the humor sucks. Especially in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Wow. But for some reason they decided, hey, let's try to make the Marvel humor fit in a Star Wars movie. Star Wars has always had humor. Of course it has. Since the beginning, it's always had humor. But it's not the kind of humor that, ruins a scene, per se. It's not like, hey, we're in, we're in great danger, time to die. Guess I'm gonna crack a couple jokes. What?
The humor in the intro.
The first joke I don't like.
The first joke lasted way too long.
Yeah, that goes way too long.
When it was in the beginning, that first line, when he was like, hello, is anyone there? I was like, that's kind of funny. I kind of like that. And he kept going. And I'm like, okay, really? And then the next scene, Snoke yeets Hux. Hux is a joke. The First Order is a joke. Holdo is a joke.
And yet
Poe
they're still
is a joke.
beating the
Finn
resistance.
is a joke. Rose is a joke. Rey's a joke. Luke's a joke. Everyone in this movie is a joke. They all should be dressed as clowns. I don't understand why this movie has such idiotic character choices. It makes no sense. A 5-year-old, if you told a 5-year-old, and he probably wouldn't even remember everything you told, and he still probably could have written a better script than The Last Jedi was. Are you kidding me? You decide to throw in political matters in a movie that has nothing to do with political matters in our current situation. It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, not a long time ago in your goddamn backyard. It's stupid. Yeah, we're gonna point out animal cruelty. Okay, why? What's the point? Does this fit with the story? The entire Rebel fleet that we have right now, the last of the Rebel fleet, is about to get destroyed. And we're gonna have a side note about how PETA's great. Or then we're gonna.
It's very integral to the story.
Yeah, definitely. That one scene where they had a horse chase.
It was really important.
It was great.
Their friends are dying, but
then slavery. Okay, yeah, slavery's bad. Doesn't really have anything to do with the movie right now. Okay, what about the entire point? I don't even remember. What was the entire point of them trying? They were trying to find a cracker to try and disable the tracker for the
hyperdrive.
Yeah, because the hyperdrive was tracked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It literally did like nothing.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
The whole plot was pointless. If Rose and Finn were able to get away on a cute little escape pod and fly out and have crazy adventures and, you know, have a fun little horse chase and go to the casino and do some gambling, why didn't the rest of the Rebel fleet just take those ships? Because they had a whole side plot because of those ships. Those ships are the OP ones. They should be making the entire Rebel fleet in those ships. Because it's like, oh no, we're about to get into a fight. Oh well, I guess I'm just going to make myself a subplot. Bye, and just fly away, and you're perfectly fine the rest of the goddamn movie. Finn's arc had nothing. I don't understand.
He regressed from Force Awakens.
I don't get it. He is one of the most interesting he was one of the most interesting characters in the sequel trilogy because we haven't seen a stormtrooper defect from the Empire before. So we were like, oh, this is a cool idea. And, you know, the whole movie he's running away in The Force Awakens, and, you know, he decides to come back at the last second and save his friends and try to save Rey from Kylo Ren, and he ends up getting hurt because of it. But then he comes back and immediately he's walking around in a giant bubble suit spewing water out because it's funny.
And then he tries to leave again. His arc's the same,
it's
but
so
worse.
dumb. It's not even. It doesn't even feel like a Star Wars movie to me. It really doesn't. Aside from the idiotic choices, it does not have a Star Wars vibe. I didn't have fun watching this movie. I thought this movie was boring. The humor was boring. They threw more jokes at us than action sequences, and those were boring. The only action sequence I kind of liked when I first saw the movie, that you also kind of liked, was the throne room.
And
but then when you look at it,
you
realize it's terribly choreographed. I don't understand why this was even a thing. I don't understand why we never explained why Leia became Mary Poppins. If we just got one line saying that Luke taught me a couple tricks about the Force or something like that, I would have at least accepted it more. And, you know, maybe, just maybe I would have been fine with it. But no, this movie, in my opinion, is a complete narrative mess. It goes nowhere. There's no character progression. Empire did the same thing. They really went nowhere. But in that movie, there was so much character development and charisma between the main cast that you didn't have a problem with it, and it was an extremely enjoyable, likable movie, and people consider it the best Star Wars movie ever made. Why is Rian Johnson coming out here saying that Empire would have been roasted in this time period? How does that make any sense?
He doesn't know Star Wars.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't. I think he's a bumbling oaf and should never touch a Star Wars movie again.
But Brendan, he's still getting a trilogy.
Nope, he's not. Not if I have anything to say about it.
Brendan, you don't.
I do.
Kathleen does.
Like,
and she knows what's
matters.
best for Star Wars.
I would make it matter. Yeah.
You tried.
You know what? Whatever. I just want to talk about the one that just came out.
First, your final verdict.
So yes, without further ado, before we get into an infinitely more enjoyable movie, I'm gonna say. I'll do my score at the end. Tyler, what is your score of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi?
I was going to say 7.5. But I think I'm going to bring it down to a 7. Because I just remembered that I didn't like that ending scene at all. I forgot to mention that too.
I didn't even mention it because I can't get into it because we'll be sitting here for 3 hours.
Because they just went back to like them on the casino planet. I can't remember the name of it, and it's just the little boy sweeping it and looks up,
kid.
and it's got the what was it? The
Rebel ring.
The Rebel ring.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
has nothing to do with the story.
Visible confusion.
Like me, the whole movie.
What? So what? We're gonna wait like 30 years for this kid to grow up?
It's gonna be his
story.
Dude, his name is Anakin. It's Anakin.
It's George.
It's Anakin.
Yanni. So yeah, I'm gonna sit at a solid, not even solid, just 7.
Okay. All right.
You thought New Hope was a 7?
It's okay. So TJ, remember what
It's
I
a 0.
said. Remember what I said.
I hate this movie. It's a 0. Yoda can't even give it 1 point.
No.
It's a 0.
No. Christian, what do you think of this movie?
I'm gonna give it a nice 1.
What's that extra point for?
Some of the scenes were interesting to watch, and that's about it.
Disagree.
You know what? I can kind of understand you giving it a 1. I do. Don't get me wrong.
Imagine having to understand.
Yoda telling Luke how he's wrong and how he's based all of his stuff off these Jedi texts that have been sitting there for whatever.
To be fair, that was probably the only funny line I actually got a kick out of. like old books they were. Page turners they were not. I was like, all right. Like, I rewatched that scene recently, too. I was like, all right. I'll throw you a bone and say that was good. Thank you
And
for
then
that
Ray
one
has
scene.
the books anyway.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't really, I don't know, bother me anyway. I think Yoda was basically
Ray
just
just
trying to
robbed
tell.
Luke. Luke got bullied by Ray.
No, and then everyone got bullied by Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this movie a fat 0.
My man.
This movie, it hurt my favorite character in the entire series. Mark Hamill has, all of us know, has spoken his opinion about. Yeah, he's voiced his opinion about this, the way Luke was portrayed in this movie, and I completely agree with him. I felt like his whole character arc just kind of ruined itself, even with the way he died. I get it, like, it's kind of heroic, I guess, because he covered their escape at the end on Crate, but I genuinely, the way it happened, no, I can't. I can't forgive it.
Because even then, it's
No.
like when he said his goodbye to Leia, he wasn't actually there when he
No.
went and kissed her on the
No,
forehead.
I just- I
I'm
don't-
just like,
I don't
not
know.
even for
I
your
don't.
sister. You're
Can't do
I'm
it.
just-
No. The only good thing I can say about this movie is Kylo Ren. He's probably the only one who wasn't entirely bullied. I mean, Snoke bullied him,
Snoke
yeah, but
bullied
like
him.
he still was consistently the same,
bullied him.
really.
Broke the lightsaber he wanted
Basically.
right in front of him.
But you know, whatever.
And then Ray took
It's-
both pieces.
you know,
Bullied.
whatever. It's over. It's done. I'm glad that I don't ever have to watch this movie again. That's the one thing that the prequels have over The Last Jedi, is that,
The one thing.
well,
They
okay,
have
the
everything
many,
over
but
it.
one of the many things.
episodes 1 and 2, I had said previously that I probably wouldn't watch them again unless I like had friends or something. This movie I couldn't even watch with friends. I can't. There's no way I can.
If we tried, I would just be bashing it the entire time.
Yep. It would be like me reacting to Jar Jar in episode 1. Like, the whole time I'd just be sitting here laughing, groaning, making fun of it, or on my phone. I can't have fun with this movie. And the one scene I did have fun with, you look at it even more and you're like, wow, this is actually, like, I could do better in my backyard. Yikes. So that's why I'm giving it a 0. But now let's move on to the end of the Skywalker saga. Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. This movie has gotten, critically, it doesn't have good reviews. To be fair, Joker also has the same review score critically. That
I don't listen to critics. They like Last
yeah,
Jedi.
no.
And they
Yeah,
hate
and the
Joker,
audience
and-
score of Rise of Skywalker, I checked last night, it's in the 80s. It is in the 80s. So, the audience seems to genuinely like it, think it's good, and the
if
critics
you look on
thinks
the
it's
internet,
terrible.
It's pretty mixed.
Well, because it's easy to hate on something. It's fun to hate on something, to be fair. I mean, what video are you going to
It's-
click on? Are you going to
it's
click on the one that
genuine.
says, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is amazing, or Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker was so bad I'd rather gouge my eyes out with a toothpick than watch it? Yeah, it's not showing you the audience scores. Those are the critic scores. But without further ado, let's get into it. We're gonna, we should do it spoiler free. I don't,
What?
86.
What?
I think we should do it spoiler free. Because
Okay.
it's still opening.
Talk for like 5 minutes, but okay.
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, we could have a segment where we talk spoiler free, and then after that we go into spoilers.
We could, yeah. Alright, yeah, then, we can do that then. Let's get our initial thoughts out of the way, and then talk about, we should probably say our scores too, and then we'll talk about the spoiler stuff. And we'll give a fair warning if you haven't seen it yet. What are you doing? See it. Well, you are playing a very dangerous game.
Yeah.
Not seeing this movie. I have a couple friends who have already had it spoiled, like day 1. So
Force Awakens got spoiled for me.
Force Awakens got spoiled for me the day I went to go see it.
I've somehow avoided spoilers for like
Yeah.
everything I care about, so.
Yeah, that's very, very
I went in
lucky.
safe on this one. Stayed off the
Yeah.
internet for 3 days.
I did too. All right. So without further ado, let's look into the initial thoughts of it, and we'll talk about our review scores, and then we'll talk about the spoiler stuff. All right, starting with Tyler. What did you think of Rise of Skywalker?
I loved it.
All right.
I liked every second of it. There was things that I thought would not happen that I wanted to happen, and they happened, and I was happy. Other than that, every other side thing that I wanted to be addressed was addressed, and I think they did it in a way where it just works.
Thank you, Todd Howard.
If I were to quote the god Todd.
We're going to need 16 times... No, I'm kidding.
16 times the detail.
All right. So, TJ, what are your initial thoughts of The Rise of Skywalker?
Not a big fan. Wasn't big on it coming out of the theater. Over these past few days thinking on it has not helped it for me. Like I said earlier, a big issue with it is that I really don't care about any of the characters in it anymore. It did a lot of things that I think were really stupid, which we'll get into in the spoilers.
We got to promise not to kill each other if we're going to talk about spoilers. Because I know,
won't.
yeah.
I know I'm probably gonna have the lowest score here by far.
Yo, you definitely will.
Yeah.
By far.
By far, yeah. But that's fine. Honestly, this is the movie where I would accept good scores and bad. Honestly, it's the same with the prequels. Like Revenge of the Sith, I would accept why you wouldn't like it, but I would also accept why you'd like it. So, what do you think, Christian? Of
Loved
The Rise of
it.
Skywalker.
Absolutely amazing. Every single second added to the experience, and it is easily the best of the sequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Better than 1 and 2 of the prequels. And I would say better than Revenge of the Sith as well.
TJ's fuming right now.
Yeah.
You gotta respect, TJ. Respect.
I can respect it in the video,
Yeah.
but not in my heart.
My initial thoughts are not as high as Christian's, but not as low as TJ's. I am very...
But on par with Tyler's.
I'd say a little less than yours.
Okay.
I think this movie's good. I went into this movie expecting, honestly, worse than Last Jedi. I honestly thought it was going to be. At this point, because unfortunately, this movie had so many questions it needed to answer, had so much damage control that it had to do, that I was like, there's no way I'm going to have a good time with this movie. We're going to have like the first hour sitting down and addressing all the goddamn questions that were supposed to be answered in The Last Jedi. I was like, alright, this is going to be stupid. I would be lying if I said I didn't have a smile on my face the whole time and genuinely had a fun time watching it. It's got a lightsaber fight that's probably one of my favorite in the series. It's got moments that I think are really, really cool. It was visually gorgeous. One of my favorite locations in the series. Just the look of it, the aesthetic, the cinematography, gorgeous. The sound design, gorgeous. So, don't get me wrong, even though it sounds like I'm praising it completely, I do have problems with the movie. Are they as big as TJ's? Probably not. It's one of those things where they are problems, but I don't care enough about the problems to the point where it hurts the movie completely and I can't enjoy it. So, that's kind of where I stand on The Rise of Skywalker. So let's get into our score of Rise of Skywalker, and then we can get into spoilers. So Tyler, what would you give Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker?
9.
A 9?
Yep.
Okay. TJ, what would you give The Rise of Skywalker?
I'm gonna give it a 5.
Understandable.
It's like my third least favorite.
Damn. Well, 5's still not a bad score per se.
Neutral.
It's mediocre. It's understandable. What about you,
A
Christian?
solid 9.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, your score is high.
Yeah, I really like this film.
No, that's understandable. All right. I'm gonna have to give this movie it's been a fight between a 7.5 or an 8. And genuinely thinking about it, I think I'm going to have to go for an 8. Because there are things I really do like. And there are problems with it. Stopping it from making it a 10. I can't entirely blame this movie. Because unfortunately, we had The Last Jedi to build up on. And there's really nothing to build up on when you kill all of your characters and make them, reduced to like one group of people. So I kind of give it the benefit of the doubt. Because I honestly expected it to be worse. And it wasn't. So that's all I can ask for. I can genuinely watch episode 7 and episode 9 and be happy. I honestly think it was an alright end to the series. I don't really have a problem with the ending of it. So that was our initial reactions and our score of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, Force Awakens, and Last Jedi. We are about to get into spoiler territory. We're basically going to talk about the spoilers of the movie, and this is a movie that I definitely would not want spoiled. If you don't care, stick around. We're basically going to talk about the gist of what happens.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it yet, stop the video right now. Thank you very much for watching. If you guys like what you saw here, we have the prequel video and the original trilogy video out. We also have other videos out as well. We have the Golden Age of Gaming, where we talk about games and all that stuff. I have other movie reviews out there, so if you're interested in TGB at all, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and it helps us out a lot, and I appreciate that. And I hope you guys join us in the next video, and we will see you guys later.
Now that that's over,
let's jump into spoiler talk.
To everybody's favorite scene, Kylo and Rey kissing. Everyone's favorite.
No. I hate
yes.
it. I know you like it.
I was one of the few people
Lizzie
who shipped
likes
them
it.
from the start.
I hate it.
I don't hate it.
And in the way they did it, it was perfect.
Ooh. We'll
right.
talk about
Okay.
that when we
Okay.
get to it.
So the whole premise of the movie is they're trying to find a wayfinder to Exegol, which is this moon that is inhabited by the Sith. It has a Sith temple in it, similar to that of Ahch-To, which was the Jedi temple, even though it had like no temple on Ahch-To, but no,
It had a little building.
it had a little tree.
That's
It had a little tree. There's the tree of life. But and Rey's trying to find this. She's also, getting increasingly frustrated because she's trying to train and she's not up to par with where she wants to be. And
Which is weird considering she hasn't failed at anything in the trilogy thus far.
She failed pretty hard in this movie, though.
That's why I said thus far.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fair.
And
And the whole movie is basically her trying to get the Wayfinder to get to Palpatine, Kylo trying to get to Rey so they can both go to Palpatine, and everyone else is kind of following Rey so that way they can destroy the last of the Sith. And that's basically the premise of the movie. Extremely simple, but I didn't have a problem with it because some of the best movies can sometimes have simple premises. They don't need to be extremely complex. So a lot of things happened in this movie.
Lots of things.
A lot. We get to see a lot of Force abilities that I thought were pretty cool.
Which I wanted to talk about when they had captured Chewie, and Rey started to bring back down the ship with Force, and I was like, "This is alright." So at first I was like, "This is
pod
really
racing.
cool."
Yeah.
Like we have and I was said to Brendan, I was like, "We really haven't seen anything like to this extent before, besides like the Force Unleashed."
Yeah.
Right. Like in a Star Wars film, we haven't seen someone rip a ship out of the sky, have we?
No, I don't think.
not
So.
in a film.
And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is cool that they're tapping into this. And then Kylo comes along and he's like, they're playing tug of war. I'm like, okay, now it's kind of stupid.
Well, but yeah, but
And
you
then
know, like, why,
and
though?
lightning shoots out of her
Yeah.
fingers, and I'm like,
I mean, yeah, and Kylo said it, too.
I told you guys.
Kylo said, too, that,
she was a
like-
Palpatine.
Yeah, Kylo said that he specifically did it because he wanted to see her get pissed off, like, get unhinged. He said something
Mhm.
along those lines.
Because the only other time it was in The Last Jedi, and they were tug of war against the lightsaber, and then they both go back. Woo!
Yeah. Woo. No, you don't seem too enthusiastic about the new Force abilities.
I mean,
Still better than Whirlwind Sprint.
well, for the new Force abilities, like their whole teleporting thing, no thanks. Not interested. Force Storm, I think it's cool, but at the same time,
That's what they're calling it?
didn't-
Are you talking about Palpatine's?
that's
At
like
the
the
end.
old Legends name for that kind of thing. Force Storm.
Oh,
So
it's a Legends thing?
yeah.
Yeah, it's also in KOTOR 1 and 2.
So yeah,
Oh.
Legends.
Oh.
So
Did
yeah,
not
it's
know that.
an old thing that they brought in, but you know, like it's cool, but it doesn't do anything. It disabled ships that just
It
turned
disabled
back on.
the entire Resistance fleet, and the only reason why it turned back on was because Rey woke up.
Yeah, but like they didn't.
Like
The
if-
Last Order didn't shoot down the ships that couldn't fight back. It's kind of.
did we see any ships blow up?
We saw like
did it
one
affect the First
ship.
Order ships too?
I don't think so.
I don't
Otherwise, they
remember.
would have fallen.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't remember seeing any. No.
I saw like one fighter blow up, but I don't remember if that was because of the Force Storm
Well,
or if
I
that was
know
before it happened.
because I know that Finn and I keep forgetting her name.
I don't know.
Girl Finn. Were
Maybe Lando's daughter.
Yeah, they were disabling the
With
main
horses
Star
on
Destroyer.
a ship.
I accept that more than teddy bears destroying ATSTs with logs.
Yeah, they're both dumb, but you know the ship could have literally just tilted a little bit.
No, because they were all like on top of each other. That's why Poe said we need to go up close to them so that way they start hitting each other.
There was enough space for that guy to slightly tilt and
Do you
have the
think
horses
so, though?
fall.
Are you sure?
I think so. There was definitely enough space there.
Okay, that's interesting. So, so aside from a lot of force ability, you're not a fan of Kylo and Rey being able to like teleport things with each other.
No.
I love that.
I mean,
that scene.
I don't
As
have
soon
a
as she
problem
put it
with
behind her back, I was like,
Well, I knew exactly what they were.
It's
gonna do,
coming out the
yeah.
other end. He's pulling out a saber out of his ass, and it's gonna be great.
I just loved how Kylo was like, "What can I say? This is kind of cool." And just like, "All right,
Did
let's
you
go."
guys see the thing that Lizzie put in the group chat?
About the I need a
About-
hero thing?
I need a
I
hero,
didn't-
and it was like that whole
I
thing.
didn't
I was
watch
like,
it.
oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
I wish it was in higher quality.
It's kind of funny, yeah.
And then Palpatine just trains their life force and
That was cool.
heals.
I liked that.
It's
Well, if that's the case, then
It's
then your
okay.
argument for Padme having her life traded for Anakin's makes no sense, and you wouldn't like that either.
I mean, I guess it could be that.
It's not. I guess it's exactly what it
guess could
is.
be that.
That's your excuse
This
for
man
the whole will
heals
to live
his
thing.
fingers.
And his face to an extent. It
Gets
doesn't
his
heal
eyes
the
back.
Force lightning. What did you not see? He had like his
Yeah,
lips
I
were-
know.
his
I
eyes.
saw
and-
his whole like zombie appearance.
I liked it.
in
I
the
thought his-
beginning when he quotes "Revenge of the Sith."
Yeah. Palpatine was creepy in this. I liked his vibe that he was
Very
giving
good.
off.
The whole Exegol.
I loved
as
it.
a whole was
I
almost
thought it
like
was so
horror
cool.
film with like the lightning crackles,
lightnings,
and like
yeah.
the small little corridors that they had to creep into,
That
and
whole
just like
scene.
the arena and like the Colosseum and the statues, and it's just lightning would shatter down. I was
While
like,
we're-
they're trying to paint
we're-
this like it's a horror movie, and I kind of like it.
While we're on the topic of Palpatine,
I know what you're going to talk about, and I'm going to deflect this so
Palpatine?
fast, but continue.
I really don't like how they just make it so, oh yes, I was Snoke. It was me all along.
I
don't like
all
it.
of the Sith.
Damage control reporting here. Hello. My name is Damage Control.
Doesn't make it good.
We can't exactly blame Rise of Skywalker for that, though, could we? No, we can't.
Doesn't excuse it for me. They could have done something else.
What
instead
else
of
would
what
you
was
rather?
it?
What would you
just
rather?
leave Snoke as his own character. Instead of have Palpatine have like little tubes with him in there, like hey, he's got some clones waiting.
I believe it.
Attack of the Clones, Snoke.
Makes sense. Doesn't entirely.
But would fans be happy if they just left it as that and was like, oh yeah, he was just an abysmal character and there's not
It's
much
like
else
the
to say
same
about
thing
him?
here.
What do you mean?
Snoke is still nothing.
Well, yeah, but now
at
that
least
we
they
know
try
that
to
he's
give a
an
little backstory
extension
to
of... I mean,
Instead of just forgetting
and it does
overall.
kind of make sense in a way because, I mean, if he's in no shape to go anywhere, obviously he needs like an emissary, kind of like Destiny, an emissary of the Nine type deal, because the Nine can't just randomly show up and be like, yo, hey. So like in this scenario, he needs someone who's actually able to move around. So he gets clones of like a supreme leader. He goes out, and it makes sense because the dialogue that Snoke has is basically similar to what Palpatine kept saying to Anakin, where he's like, when I found you, I found raw, like, and just like goes all
Ramsey.
yeah,
It's fucking raw.
yeah. So he was obsessed with getting Kylo's power and like Rey's power and like all that stuff, and of course, once again, his overconfidence is his weakness, because he was overconfident in Revenge of the Sith, he was overconfident in Return of the Jedi.
Kylo to kill her in Last Jedi.
Well, it was like a battle of the powers, because we know they're incredibly even. Like, that fight on the Death Star proved that they are ridiculously even.
As soon as this movie starts, Palpatine's like, bring me Rey. I don't need you, Kylo, bring me Rey.
Well, true, but it could probably be like what Palpatine was doing with Vader and Luke. Like, bring Luke to me, homie. But then kill... So, Rey, he probably either wanted Rey to kill Kylo so she can become the new apprentice, or it would be like a twist, and if Kylo ends up killing Rey, and then he becomes like Palpatine doesn't give a shit, because both of them are powerful as hell. They're both powerful in their own way. Because Rey, I'm sorry. Rey can't force freeze people. Kylo can force freeze people. But he definitely has more skills with a lightsaber. That is very clear in this movie especially. That's what I liked about this movie, is that Rey didn't feel that OP to me. And there is a time jump in this movie. There's a year that passes between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
Finally.
And that's what annoys me, the fact that The Last Jedi even happened, because I feel like if JJ made, or someone who was competent made The Last Jedi, we would have seen Rey training in that movie. We probably, honestly, if Last Jedi ended with that whole scene in the beginning with Kylo, which I really liked, by the way, with him having his lightsaber out and just like
in the beginning,
like stalking the corridors, and from like a purely like filmmaking standpoint, that scene, and you see it in the trailer too, it's like that really quick scene where like the camera like pans and Kylo like looks at his lightsaber down like this, and like the fact that Kylo's like, you see the sweat on his face, like you see like his kyber, his lightsaber just friggin' crackling and like on fire, and like it's almost like you see like the anger and fear in his eyes, and like because he doesn't know, like he's like, I've killed Snoke. He's like, Snoke was nothing. And then he's just like, my boy, I am Snoke. I am the Senate. And like, and I'm like, I don't know. It's like, I loved the vibe it was giving off. The pacing is a big complaint of this movie.
In the beginning, it's really bad.
In the beginning,
Other than
I don't
that,
think it's
I don't
bad.
know.
I just think it's
bad,
quick.
But
I
think
didn't
from
really
the second
kept
act all the way to
rushing
the end, I was
around.
on the edge of my seat.
I didn't really like...
In like the very
But I
beginning,
like-
I'm talking.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I get why people say that. In my opinion, I like what you thought of when we were playing C. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
It's the urgency. Everyone knows that Palpatine's back, so everyone's rushing to find out how the hell we stop the Dark Lord of the Sith from becoming this terrifying threat again.
That was the whole thing in the beginning.
So, like,
we have a distress signal. Palpatine's back.
well, yeah,
What?
Kylo Ren sees it as a threat to his power, so he's going in like, yo, where are you, Sidious? Come on, come at me. I've already killed Snoke, I can kill you. Come on, let's go. Rey's sitting here, and the Resistance are sitting here like, look, if we're already having a hard time with Kylo Ren and his First Order, we're gonna be destroyed if Palpatine comes back. So, like, the pacing to me matches the severity of the situation. Like, and I like that. That's why it didn't bother me that much. Because, like, the pacing in The Last Jedi was a snail. Like, nothing happened, and yet that movie, the entire Rebel fleet was about to be destroyed. And there was no, like, tension. In this movie, it's, Hey, I'm Palpatine. Just letting everyone know. I just want to enter the chat real quick. I came back.
He's streaming, dude.
I came back, guys. Just letting you know. Can't wait to murder all of you. Kylo Ren's like, bitch, what? I want to do that. Rey's like, bitch, what? Leia's like, huh? And the rebels like, hang on, we need to take care of this. So everyone's like scrambling around, and they're like all trying to do these things. I like that because it's like it's hectic, like it's almost like Hitler coming back and just saying, hey, I got my army. Yeah. Just a little. So like I like that. Another thing I really liked. This movie was violent. Like this movie was probably one of the more violent ones since Revenge of the Sith. Like Kylo Ren straight up threw that rebel spy's head like on the table. It was just like we have a rat. And like this dude's fat head with blood like pouring out. Then Lando, you see him shoot through
Lando for the
crossbow.
He's barely in it.
I'd rather
I
him
wish he was in it more.
I mean I liked him being in it though. I'm glad he isn't dead.
Yeah, that's like that's
but
the
like,
only thing with
but
him,
Lando's shooting that dude through the visor, and the whole thing just like you see the blood, and you're like, damn, whoo, because they're not clones,
Yeah.
they're people, they're actual like humans in there, and then
Are you trying to say clones aren't humans?
I mean they are. Don't get me wrong. It's just these ones are like, they're not bred from a machine. They're bred from humans breeding. So like I don't know, just. It's,
Yes, they're their own individual person.
Yes.
Have
So
you
like,
seen Clone Wars?
okay, listen. It's literally in the first episode of season 1 where Yoda's like, whatever. We can't talk about Clone Wars right now. But I liked that the violence in the lightsaber fights. I loved because Kylo Ren this whole movie is probably my favorite thing in it. Kylo does not care. He is going off. He's like, oh, Rey's tired? Alright, let me just like flail
I love
around.
the new style of like how he would like hold his lightsaber like backwards and almost kind of advance like this, or like when he would have to like guard and I don't know.
No,
I really like
he
that. Starting at the
his-
beginning and then on the
his
the Death Star.
that fight
battle.
is one of my favorites in the entire Star Wars series. That fight on the Death Star was so gorgeous. The cinematography, those waves, like when they were jumping over, seeing them actually use Jedi powers
just like
and like Jedi abilities.
Yeah, he's just
It's
doing that
great.
the entire time.
Right,
Yeah.
There was no point of him being there.
But I mean, if you can make that argument about Leia in Return of the Jedi. I mean, she really had nothing to do. Same with Han in that movie, to be completely honest.
Yeah, what about they took down the shield?
Did they though?
Yeah, all the Ewoks did.
Yeah.
They were helping the Ewoks.
Yeah.
They needed the help.
Yeah. But that fight was awesome. Watching like Rey jump over the waves and Kylo just walking through them. I mean, he jumped through, but like when Kylo, I like that shot in the trailer, which I love, where you see the faint glow of his lightsaber through the waves, and he like walks through and he's like, zoom. And he's like, "Come at me, bitch! What you got?" Like that whole fight was so good. And I love that fight so much because there's no music. All you hear are the cracks of the lightsabers. One completely, elegant weapon. And then the other one is completely violent. And it's just so not a Jedi weapon. It's not elegant at all. And like just hearing Kylo's lightsaber, the way it spins and it hums. And hearing Rey's and like it was really, really cool, and I love that so much. But
I wish we saw a little bit more of Dark Rey. Just a tad bit more. Maybe a little bit longer of a fight, or maybe like a a person versus person. What's it called? The thing.
What do you mean?
What?
The vision that she had in the Death Star?
Yeah.
It was kind of like a Dagobah and Luke thing.
Yeah.
Till
I
she
wish
went
she was just a
all-
little
she,
bit
like hissed.
More than that.
Yeah,
I
she
thought-
kinda
I
looked
thought
like-
that
did not like
butterfly.
that.
Now, she reminded me of like
knife lightsaber
Ventress,
was the
though.
coolest
Ventress is
thing.
kind of like that.
Sharp teeth.
No, she didn't have
Hissing.
sharp teeth, but she's like. But Ventress is very
Shark
like.
Boy and Lava Girl.
Ventress is kind of slutty. I mean, she's a slutty Sith Lord.
What?
Yeah, because she's like, oh, Kenobi.
That's
And like,
literally just that one episode.
okay, well, it still happens, and that's literally just this one scene.
The only one she's in?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Still the same vein though.
All right, Ventress is better.
I never said Ventress wasn't better.
All right,
But
just gotta make it clear.
yeah. Okay.
It's very important.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Good.
All right.
The ending of this movie is probably,
I like.
I guess, the most controversial. Really.
I don't like it.
Really?
No.
What don't you
like
like about it?
Well,
How would you have ended it?
No.
I don't know how I would have ended it, but it's like, see, another issue I have with this movie is like I always felt like I was one step ahead of it for like everything, and the trailer didn't help because like poses 5 times. There's nobody else coming. We're all alone. And yet in the trailer they show the massive fleet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, I'm just waiting. Like every time he says, I'm like, all right, is this where they show up?
Yeah, unfortunately,
No.
we
Is
all
this where
watched
they
way too
show
many
up?
trailers, which
No.
was
Is
2.
this where they show up? No.
I just hate that, and that's not the movie itself that's at fault. It's the marketing department. I hate it when movies, especially nowadays, you watch a trailer because like you're excited, like, and if you see more than one trailer, it's because you want to see more, but you don't want to see the whole movie. That's not the whole intention of a
I
trailer.
think Force Awakens did good with their trailers.
Force Awakens was good because it had one
The
scene
only
of
one I remember is
That and
Kylo.
because it was
Yeah.
all new, so like we didn't know what to expect.
Well, yeah, and then I think The Last Jedi did really good too because they somehow the marketing department made that movie look really good,
Yeah,
and then we
weird,
saw it.
man.
I don't
Like
remember.
that's what I can watch The Last
Probably
Jedi.
the
I
whole
can watch the
Carrie
beginning
Fisher
trailer.
because Carrie
Okay.
Fisher had just died.
This is my one, or not my one, but the way they handled Leia to me,
And
I
Rise.
liked. I liked the way they handled Leia because how else were they going to do it? Were they going to CGI her in? I'd
Which they
much rather her.
did anyway.
Well, yeah, but it was like a
Leia.
flashback, though. It's
Yeah.
different. It's different than having Tarkin show up and have a whole friggin' movie with him in it. Yeah.
CJ Tarkin.
Because there were
something
people that
else.
were like, oh, you didn't have to do that with Leia. Would you rather her just be alive but not be in the rest of the movie? And then you ask where Leia is? That's stupid. Why? Why? I don't understand why that is a thing. Like, you all know why we can't have the rest of Leia in this movie, right? Does everyone remember this? Like, we remember Carrie Fisher isn't around anymore, right? Like, exactly. I don't understand why people were, like, trashing this movie because of how they handled Leia. Why? They handled Leia fine. How else were you going to handle it? Not have her in the whole movie?
They could have done
Could have
that.
been.
Yeah, but that's also kind of disrespectful because then it would probably just make the movie worse. Because then who trains Rey?
She didn't need training before.
But
Anyway,
I mean,
back to my feelings on the ending. Again, with the whole feeling like I was ahead of the movie, I felt like it was kind of predictable because as soon as, like, when Rey and Kylo, their fight finishes, and Rey heals Kylo, right there I was like, alright, Kylo's probably gonna save her with that.
No, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
right there I predicted it. And as soon as I saw Rey die, I was like, ah, no, Kylo, don't do it. Please. I like
Yeah.
you so much better. Don't. And then he did it. And then they had the kiss.
To be fair,
and I
though,
hate it.
the kiss I don't hate only because I think it makes sense. And I said this to you, too.
Yeah.
Kristen, when I said, if someone I hated a lot, like, if I got into a giant fight with them and they killed me but brought me back and then they died and I brought them back and, like, we both went through this really traumatic experience, I'd probably fucking kiss them too, not gonna lie. Like, that's like a, Jesus Christ, like, just come over here, I'm gonna give you a big smooch. Like, it doesn't bother me. If they were gonna do the whole Raylo thing, I'd much rather it happen that way than both of them just like, hey, we just killed Palpatine together. Yeah, we did. You wanna go to Tatooine, make some sand babies?
Stop.
Like, if it went like that and read like a terrible fan fiction, I would have hated it. Probably would have walked out of the movie at the last second. I'm good. But it didn't end that way. So, and it didn't really feel,
That's
I don't
like
know.
the ending of the movie. And then I have like two that are maybe nitpicks, maybe not. Like when Rey's down and she starts hearing the voices of all the Jedi, I feel like that was a missed opportunity to have the actual Force ghosts show up, specifically
I
Anakin.
kind of wanted to see.
I felt like that would have
wanted to
been
see Force
way
Ghosts.
too tacky, though.
having
come
Anakin
on.
show up,
I wanted to see
like
some force,
pretty much Palpatine
more
returning,
force.
kind of disregards him and the Chosen One.
Not
Because his whole thing was that he killed Palpatine to bring balance to the Force. Palpatine's here. Anakin isn't.
well, he's in Rey.
Yeah, that endgame moment.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw that, I kind of rolled my eyes, because it's like, alright, it's endgame with that line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
I don't
not
know.
feeling it.
It didn't really bother me. I thought it would have
did
been.
like that
I think it would have been
some of the
stupid
voices
as hell
in there.
if all the Force Ghosts showed up.
I didn't say just Anakin. I didn't want all of them. I
Even
just wanted
Anakin, like, why? I don't.
Palpatine had his legions of Sith sitting there.
Okay, but the
So-
problem with that
yeah, but
is
that's
if
not like-
Anakin shows up, why wouldn't the other Force Ghosts show up too?
Because Anakin's
If one
the
of them
chosen
shows up.
one who killed Palpatine before.
All right. Then why wouldn't Windu show up? He has unfinished business with Palpatine.
They show up.
That stuff doesn't entirely bother It's the same thing with Endgame when Tony Stark's like, "And I am Iron Man." I hate that line. Don't like it. I don't like the.
I just like it because it's a callback to
Callback
Iron
to the
Man
original.
1.
yeah, but that's the whole
Which
point
started
of it.
the whole thing.
It's tacky. That is like annoying fan service to me. When Palpatine was like, "I am all the Sith," and Rey was like, "And I am all the Jedi," I hated both of those lines. I didn't like either one of them. Because, I mean, theoretically, Sidious probably would say that. Because, let's be real, in every trilogy Sidious is in, he's a cocky bastard. The whole time. He monologues about what someone's gonna do. "Oh, you want this? A Jedi weapon." And like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did die.
Yeah, like, "Strike me down, and I send it," and like, then like, no, I'm never gonna die! Like, the dude is cocky as hell the whole time. Like, "You will not stop me. Lord Vader will become more powerful than either of us." Like, the dude's a joke the whole time. Like, he's a cool joke. He's a cool joke, don't get me wrong. I like Palpatine, but the reason why we all like Palpatine is because he's that cartoonishly evil guy. So him saying "I'm all the Sith" makes sense to me, but I still don't like it. And like, and
It probably
I
just made it worse that Rey
Yeah.
had to counter.
well, I knew that because if she didn't say anything, it would have felt weird, and
Yeah.
if she did say something, which she did, it would have also felt weird. So they kind of wrote themselves in a corner where it was like,
It's this whole
all
movie,
right.
it feels like.
yeah, Ryan
'Cause
Johnson
of
wrote them in a
Last Jedi.
corner. Like, not for nothing, but J.J. Abrams gave him a bunch of open-ended questions. Ryan Johnson gave them none. Nothing.
Yeah.
What could they work with? They killed the guy who was supposed to be the big Palpatine clone. They friggin' kill Luke, who's supposed to be the Grand Master, whatever. They put themselves in such a terrible corner, and I don't understand why the script was passed.
But one thing that, Ryan Johnson didn't do that JJ set up Force Awakens was the Knights of Ren, which they're in this film, and they suck.
Yeah?
They don't do anything. Same with the Sith Troopers.
Yeah.
They're the exact same thing, just painted
They
red
only
to
had
sell
one
toys.
scene where one of them deflected a hit. I don't know if you
Yeah, and then
saw that.
I think he still died anyway.
No,
He got shot again.
Yeah, because he ran and he got shot once, got up,
But then
and
again, they
started
kind of
shooting
tried to
again.
depict him as a good guy too, so he wasn't.
What?
What? What are you
What are you
talking
talking about?
about?
We're talking about Sith
Huh?
troopers, not.
Yeah, well, no, I'm saying they wouldn't show like to the extent of his knights when he wasn't really on the dark side for that long.
I
in
think
this
they
movie.
should have. He
Yeah,
was on the dark side
Knights
for
are,
like
in
half
the
the movie.
the whole time.
The
They
first
just
half of the
don't do
movie,
anything.
Kylo Ren is like almost matching Vader in terms of kills here.
Yeah.
The dude straight up, like, in the beginning, his first scene is him slaughtering a planet.
With the Knights. That's
Yeah.
like the
I think
closest they ever do
there's
to
too much
anything.
he had to do with Rey. Because it
I-
was pretty much always
It's
that.
another one of those things
Because then
where,
the only
unfortunately...
The only other time we really saw him was on that
Well-
one planet in
This movie should have been longer. Because they would have had
Yeah.
more time to flesh out everything, but the
Yeah.
only reason why it should have been longer is because we had a movie that straight up neglected the Knights of Ren because he didn't want to put them in it. Like, it makes no sense to me. I don't... That's why I don't hate this movie as much as everyone else does. Is because I understand. I'm, like, understanding of why some things need to be. I understand why Maz couldn't answer her question about how she found Luke's lightsaber on Cloud City, which, to be completely honest, it probably just went down another shaft the same way Luke did. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
That shaft, opened up into the abyss of.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a rigid shaft, so theoretically the lightsaber that is also rigid probably just caught on something. I don't doubt that.
Actually,
man.
I don't doubt
when
that.
he went down too, it wasn't.
He stopped,
He
too.
stopped, and then something below him opened up.
Yeah.
So it's not like it went all the way down. So it probably was just chilling in a vent somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, like, that makes sense.
Perhaps
But,
he was
yeah.
going through the vents and just looking for stuff. I don't know.
Yes,
Oz,
but, like...
that rat just crawling through the air
Yeah.
ducts.
But, like, there's a
For
reason...
lightsabers and lost hands.
I know why Maz wasn't in it, which is kind of unfortunate, because, like, I liked
She was there.
Maz in Force Awakens.
She was there to narrate
Say hi.
what.
Yeah, but I didn't have a
Leia was
problem with
doing.
it, though, and I like Lupita Nyong'o. I think she's a great actress. So, like, I don't know. I guess the charisma of the actors is what makes these characters good. But, like, I understand why they can't have Maz explain things. I understand why the Knights of Ren aren't... Like, they're in it. They're in a lot of scenes.
But
It's
they
just
don't
they
do
don't
anything.
do much. Like, Kylo uses them a lot, technically.
Yeah,
like they arrest Chewie. A
Which
part of me...
I don't like that scene. Chewie is silent while getting kidnapped, when in every other movie he's in, even when they're sneaking around on the Death Star in A New Hope, he's loud.
Yeah.
And plus,
So-
Finn sees them take Chewie,
Well...
and Rey just
A part of
grabs
me
the
also
one
thinks
ship.
that maybe the reason why is because Chewie knew that they were outnumbered, and that if he screamed, they would rush to his aid, and then they wouldn't be able to get the Sith Wayfinder, therefore kind of ruining the whole operation, you know what I mean? Because the only people that are
Still,
there are
like,
Rey,
when
Finn,
is
and
he
Poe.
ever silent? Even on the Death
Well-
Star, he wasn't.
Well, yeah, but that kind of made sense, though, because he was supposed to be a prisoner. They were taking him in, so if he was like...
No, like,
"Arr!"
even when
like-
they were sneaking around, like, as soon as the Stormtroopers went off the Millennium Falcon, he pops up and roars.
Well, yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm just saying, man.
I mean, it makes
like,
sense to me. Like, at that point, it just kind of seems like random
But again, like, the
nitpicks at
main
this
thing
point.
is that Finn should have known which transport Chewie was on.
Yeah,
And Rey just grabs the wrong one.
Could
and
she hear Rey from where he was?
Huh?
Could she hear... Or could Rey hear Finn from where...
Yes. Because he screamed, they have Chewie, and then she grabbed the ship.
Well, he didn't specifically say which transport it was.
There was only one they showed. When they were and then,
Yeah,
Well,
and then
didn't-
like
that's
5
that's
minutes
how they
later...
explained
Yeah, but
it.
didn't
They go
Kylo
back
say...
on it.
But didn't Kylo say that there were two transports? He said that he...
Yeah, I'm saying, I'm pretty sure when Chewie is taken, it shows 2 transports, but then it only shows one when Rey grabs it. And
Yeah,
Finn
so
doesn't
she-
say anything like, that's the wrong transport.
Well,
When
even
he
if...
should know
But even
which
if
one
Finn
it
said
is.
something, though, do you really think Rey would have paid attention if Kylo's all the way over there doing the same thing she's doing? She's thinking that Chewie's on there.
I'm saying
So,
Finn
like-
could have corrected.
Yes, but I'm saying even if he did, something tells me when you're force moving an entire Sith transport, a transport with your enemy being on the other side, and like you're just sitting there, because she was so focused that she shot force lightning out, and the whole thing exploded.
Yep.
Which
And then
I thought that was cool though.
That
when that
fake
happened,
out
I was
Chewie
like,
death though.
It went from cool
which
to dumb.
They
back to cool.
undo in like 5 minutes,
I-
which they do again with C-3PO.
what with the
Acting
memory
like,
wipe?
yeah, they're gonna erase his memory forever. He literally says,
Yes.
And they're
R2
like,
doesn't
R2
have
doesn't
his
have my
memory.
memories. He's not a
and
good
then
friend.
later on in the
Yeah.
movie, it's like, oh hey, C-3PO's fine. That plot point didn't matter.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, they painted.
So,
R2
like,
to be a better
okay, I
friend.
understand that, and I personally think Chewie should have died. Because
If he was going to die, it should not have been there.
Daisy Ridley's reaction,
If he would have died, I
was-
don't think it would have been that scene.
I-
Because there was a part of me like he's not dead, and like I didn't let
I know,
any
but
emotion
I
until
think-
I knew for sure that he was alive.
I don't know, I think it just would have fit with
If
what
he would've
Rey
died,
was
he'd have to
going
die
through,
on
because
screen.
because Rey would blame herself, and obviously, and like her reaction was really good, like when she was like screaming
'Cause
Chewie's
she
name
let
like
her
frantically,
Anger
and like
fear out.
and Kylo's sitting there like, nice. And she's just like freaking out. And Palpatine probably felt it and was like, oh yeah, I feel your
And
anger.
instead, those poor troopers on that transport
Yeah.
just getting
So,
stuck
like,
in place by the Force. It's like, what's happening?
My issue...
And they blew
Well,
up.
not-
Poor guys.
Yeah.
What's happening?
They got bullied.
It's not even like an issue, but I personally think the entire ending should have been Ben and not Rey.
Would have been nice.
I personally think,
I think
and I
Kylo should
explained
have
this
been
to
the
you
main
as well.
character of this trilogy.
Ben, has been running away from his actual lineage this entire sequel trilogy. He denounces the Jedi, joins the Knights of Ren. He's not really a Sith Lord. He's not really a part of anything. He's just kind of him. And Sidious manipulated him, and he now realizes that because of Sidious and Snoke, that's the reason why his dad's dead, Luke's dead, and now Leia. So, like, this whole thing, like, he realizes he's been manipulated and he wants to, like, change that. So the whole ending scene, or not whole ending, but, like, the fight at the end, which I really liked when both of them, like, raised their lightsabers and was like, we're ready to take on Palpatine or whatever. I think that Rey should have sacrificed herself and she should have stayed dead.
Yeah.
Not because I don't like Rey, because I do like Rey. I think she's at her most likable in this movie than Last Jedi and Force Awakens. But to be fair, Last Jedi, nobody had anything to work with. So even the characters we've known for years now weren't even likable. Luke wasn't even that likable. We just like Mark Hamill, so we were like, yeah, Mark Hamill. Luke, on the other hand, So I just think, because she's afraid the whole time that she's going to become a Sith. So if she dies a Jedi, and the most heroic thing you could do is sacrifice yourself to save the rest of the galaxy and have all the Jedi with her, she's at peace. She's 100% at peace. That's perfectly fine. Kylo gets up, realizes what's happened. Rey is dead in front of him, and that whole, like, cradling scene is still, like, emotional. If he, like, kissed her forehead or something, still would have been fine. And then the X-Wing, Red 5, goes up in the air, and, you know, they're automatically thinking, like, oh, is it Rey? Is it Rey? But then, like, Finn, of course, since they hint at him being Force sensitive in this movie, obviously he knows that it's not Rey. Kylo goes to Tatooine, buries his mom's lightsaber, buries his uncle's lightsaber, and has his own, and decides to pick up Skywalker as his name, because it's his mom's name.
Well,
Well,
he could have stuck with Solo.
True, he could have done that too, or he could have done it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It could have been one of those things. I just think it would have been more emotional because he was related more to them. Because unfortunately, The Last Jedi didn't do a great job, aside from everything, with developing Rey as a character. Because her only interactions with Luke were her yelling at him and him yelling at her. It was a pissing match the whole movie. She's over here like, you need to train me, and he's like, no, I don't want to. And that's basically it. So that's the unfortunate. I just think it would have been better if Ben was the one that made it through that whole ending sequence and not Rey. That being said, though, I like the way it went, though. Like,
Yeah.
it's a...
How she buried, like,
I
her
like
ribs.
that she's kind of going... Not kind of, she is. I like that she's going her own path. Her
And
lightsaber's
she has
cool.
her own,
I
yeah.
like her lightsaber. I actually was happy that my prediction was accurate.
It was yellow.
Because I was like, hey, her staff kind of looks like a lightsaber. Why doesn't she make a lightsaber out of that? And she did exactly that. So I was like, that's cool. I like that. And I like the orange blade. Or yellow.
It was yellow.
I don't know.
I liked it.
Like, that's nice. And
Too
I
bad
like that
we'll
she was...
never see her again.
No. But it's just... It's kind of unfortunate. Because, like, I like the way it ended, but I think it could have been not a lot better, but better if Ben was the one that made it through the end, and maybe seeing Luke and Leia and Rey there, it would have made sense, because technically if she's right there with him, she's, in their mind, a Skywalker. So she gets to the same endpoint, but instead of being there physically, she's there metaphysically. I think that's a better end for her than what she got. But again, it's one of those things that it's a complaint that doesn't bother me. But I don't know. But what are you trying to say, Christian?
Couldn't disagree more.
Really?
Yes, because Kylo Ren dying completes his character arc perfectly. Because throughout the film, throughout the entire sequel trilogy, Vader is his idol. He wants to become Vader.
Okay.
And Vader, in Return of the Jedi, dies via redemption. So then, Kylo Ren, doing the exact same thing as Vader, perfectly mirrors it.
Yeah, that also makes sense too. That's why it doesn't bother me. Yeah.
Vader arc perfectly, because it perfectly mirrors what Vader did.
Yeah, no, I do get that, and thinking about that also makes me, like I said, not hate where Rey ends up. I think where all the characters end up is great. I don't have a problem. It's probably the best way they could have ended it, honestly. I like that Rey. Okay, I'm not obviously homophobic or anything, but I definitely didn't think Finn and Poe were in love. I don't understand why people thought they were.
Because they ship anything that breathes.
That's so true. But because bruh, it's just because if that's the case, why don't you just say Luke and Han are gonna make out?
Dude, maybe they should have. You never know.
No, there's no need. They're just really close friends. They're like brothers.
Maybe they should have been even closer.
No.
Never speak again.
It's frustrating that fans went into this movie expecting Empire, and they were disappointing themselves. Not a lot of them, but most. And I hate the criticisms. A lot of critics are coming out saying, "Oh, this movie isn't as good as Last Jedi. It ruined all of Last Jedi."
Liked Last Jedi.
Yeah, it was all the critics were like, "Oh, The Last Jedi stood above the rest of the Star Wars movies because it was unique. It made the most bold choices, and The Rise of Skywalker completely ruins those bold choices." And by bold, they mean ruining character arcs and killing off characters that had questions that still needed to be answered. Interesting.
Weird.
What
man.
critics want. Then again, I don't think critics are critics. They're kind of just people who have a Twitter
get
account
paid to
and
have stupid opinions.
Yeah, and either that or they don't care about the actual media they just watch. They just care about it politically.
Yeah.
Like they were all like, "Wow, yeah, the first on-screen lesbian Star Wars kiss." Okay,
Who cares?
cool.
It's
glad
there.
that they're getting representation, whatever.
Even
but
though that probably is just going to be cut out of the Chinese version.
Yes,
Disney only cares
because
about money.
yes, and that, when you think about it, is kind of shitty. I don't know if you knew about that.
No.
But they basically made it obscure enough so that way they could remove it from the Chinese versions, just so Disney can profit in China as well.
Disney, you have enough money, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
so,
I don't think they do.
So honestly, there the things in the movie that bother me are the things we really already discussed. But it's the same. I don't know if you've ever seen the YouTube channel, the Cosmonaut Variety Hour.
Oh,
I'm sure you've probably heard of it.
I've watched a lot of his videos.
Yeah,
I disagree
um,
with a good number of them.
Understandable. I agree with this Force Awakens one though.
I haven't watched that one.
It's okay to
recently. I
like
don't
Force
remember.
Awakens. He has some very valid points. But to be fair, I kind of agreed.
And
Anyway.
then he turns around in his newest videos and say, "You have to be brainwashed to like the prequels."
A lot of people don't like the prequels, TJ.
Good for them.
No one
They
has
don't
ever
need to
changed
say
their
you're
opinion.
brainwashed if you like it.
Okay, that's just...
I mean, he also thinks that the Raimi trilogy is absolute garbage, so,
I mean, no, 1 and 2 are good. No, I can't say that I didn't like the Raimi trilogy. I liked the Raimi sequels, the 1 and 2. Don't like 3.
Sequel.
I don't like 3 at all. But no, honestly, talking about it more, Rise of Skywalker is just good, in my opinion. It's good. It's got problems, but honestly, what Star Wars movie doesn't?
Empire.
Debatable.
Empire has, I don't know, has a couple problems. I was actually thinking about this too, what problems do I have with Empire? And even though I had a review literally a few days ago that said I didn't have any problems with it, but like, I'm sure if I sat there and was, like, nitpicking, I can find things.
Like, you can do that with literally anything.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, but the prequels have a ridiculous amount of problems. A New Hope, I mean, there's some problems there, like how Luke uses the Force, even though he literally doesn't use it like the whole movie, to get a shot that's 1 in a million that no one's able to get, and it ends up blowing up an entire space station somehow. It's just as bad as Anakin at age 9 destroying an entire Trade Federation base and getting out of there untouched because he spun. Because it's a good trick.
It's a good trick.
Stupid. But like I said, it's like things like that. Like, this movie reminds me of Revenge of the Sith. And I know you disagree with that because you think Revenge of the Sith is an absolutely flawless masterpiece. Revenge of the Sith is flawed as hell.
I didn't say flawless.
There are so many.
Yes.
There are
Flawless,
so
no.
many problems with Revenge of the Sith. But it's just the kind of problems that you're like, does it detract from me having fun with the movie, though? And if it doesn't detract from you having fun with the movie, I don't see why it's really even worth mentioning them. I can watch Rise of Skywalker and have a fun time. I genuinely can. The problems that are in this movie, if someone said to me, like, they hate the movie, I understand. I understand why. Some people think the fan service was way too on the nose and that MacGuffin chasing is stupid.
Yeah,
I
there was a
personally
lot of
think
that.
it didn't bother me. But everyone's entitled to their right opinion or wrong opinion or however you view it, whatever. Opinion.
That's the word you're looking for.
Yeah. So, like, these little problems, they don't really get to me. I just wish certain things happened. But since they didn't happen, I'm not going to sit here and complain about it because there's no point in doing so. If the movie was as bad as, like, The Last Jedi was, destroy this movie. Oh, like, destroy it. Make it not stand. Because that's a movie that I felt genuinely didn't try to even remotely answer any questions or anything like that. This movie, JJ was unfortunately charged with an impossible task to somehow try to fit this thing into a cohesive trilogy or coherent trilogy that made sense. And he had to do it on a tight-ass timeline because I'm sure Disney wouldn't have given him... They probably wouldn't have given him extra time, even if he wanted it.
They need that money.
Exactly, because Solo was rushed as well, wasn't it? Soy Boy? I thought it was. They had a bunch of writers and directors leave, like, left and right. Then, like, Rogue One had a bunch of reshoots and stuff. But like I said, JJ was charged with an impossible task to somehow try to make this movie even remotely good. And he succeeded for me. Like, he succeeded enough to the point where I respect him for it, because I know he's going to get all the blunt for it. People are calling him Jar Jar Abrams. Like, it's stupid. It's whatever, in my opinion, but I don't know. The things that happen in this movie, I don't hate. I don't. Lando's kind of funny. Billy D. Williams is just Lando. Once again, he didn't change in any way. He's just older. I still love his kind of way, his bravado. Like when he was like, "Where you from, kid?" Like, just all I could think of was
that
like
weird scene.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that scene was kind of weird.
It feels like they cut stuff out of the
there
movie,
definitely was stuff cut out.
especially relating to that.
That's why I'm saying, like, this movie feels like it probably was longer, but Disney probably wanted to cut it.
And yet they left some random part, like that one weird alien on the Millennium Falcon in the beginning.
Oh
That
yeah,
was like fixing the ship. I was like, "Who is this?" And he's just in the background for the rest of the movie. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. This movie, I hope this movie has like an extended cut, kind of like because Revenge of the Sith has an extended cut, doesn't it?
It's rumored that there was like a 4-hour cut originally.
Oh God, it's just as
doesn't
friggin'
exist.
It's just as obscure
It
as the
doesn't
Snyder
actually
cut.
exist. Yeah.
Oh, because if this movie does have an extended cut, I'm sure it's probably better. There's probably maybe some more scenes of the Knights of Ren doing something. I'm sure there's probably some more Lando scenes, whatever. But I honestly think that the Skywalker series could have ended on a worse note, and it didn't. I mean, we all had fun, except you, apparently, watching it. And I know Lizzie and Tyler got what they wanted. But to be fair, it was in a way that I think was presented better than a terrible fan fiction that you guys were planning on writing. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. They're gonna like you guys
You're
made
lucky
it sound
we didn't
like
have to write it.
you guys made it as
Maybe
if it
we
was
still
like
will.
you guys
Don't,
were
I'll
making it
burn
so
it.
that way like during the lightsaber fight, Rey would be like, "I love you, Ben," and he'd just be like, "I hate you so much, and I just want to love you more." Like,
Stop,
like it's
please,
so
cut
bad.
this out. Cut this
Like,
out of
yeah.
the video.
Yeah, I'm leaving it in.
Nobody wants this.
No. So, for closing statements, do any of us have any final thoughts on the series? Any, I don't know, did your
Series?
or not on the series? I mean, in terms of Rise of Skywalker, like any closing things, like.
Oh yeah, one more thing. I don't like Dio. It felt like for the entire movie he was just there to sell a toy, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, he had everything we needed to beat the Final Order."
I thought the only thing he had was the map to Exegol.
No, he had like, "Oh yeah, this is how they get out of here. This is how we blow them up."
Oh.
And all of the Star Destroyers had Death Star lasers, another Death Star, essentially.
Well,
Just like
to be
a
fair, it
big
is
unit.
effective.
Still, it's like they keep
Like-
using it.
Well, yeah, that's just standard like good versus evil stuff.
Still, like they could do something different than a planet-destroying weapon that they've done 4 times.
Well, if the fleet actually took off, nobody would stand a chance. Like, can you
Except
imagine that?
if they still beat Palpatine, all the ships die anyway, because there were some blowing up over planets where there weren't rebels.
Well, that was because they I'm trying to remember.
Did the capital ship just control all
Yeah,
of
the
their...
controls. Because remember, the commander was like, let's shut down the comm tower on the land and switch the.
Yeah, but that's just to navigate them out. I don't understand why that kills the ships that weren't on Exegol.
Or no, I thought it was the power. Oh, well, if that's the case, then why would?
Yeah, that's just what
the
I'm
rebel
trying to
fleet
figure
fly out. Because I was gonna say like it was probably the power of, like Rey deflecting the lightning with 2 lightsabers with all the power of the Jedi and the Sith just exploding. But then theoretically the rebel ships would have been hit too.
Yeah, so I don't.
I don't. Maybe.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of like one of those things.
Plot
Like
hole.
Lord of the Rings has that same thing that happens once Frodo destroys the One Ring and all the. Actually, it's actually the exact same thing. It is like a Return to the King moment where all the heroes are fighting and they're basically going to lose. But when Frodo destroys the ring, all the earth crumbles literally perfectly around the heroes. Like, they're fine, but the rest of the army collapses.
Interesting.
So, like, it happens in movies like that, and it's whatever. And it still doesn't... Nobody questions it. Good versus evil. Good wins. Always.
Some people question it.
Well, yeah,
Me.
you can question it,
I
but
just
it's not going to
questioned it.
detract it.
Neat.
Like if I somehow got you to watch the Lord of the Rings series and you started nitpicking stuff, I would have to kill you. That's you don't
challenge me.
understand. Bet I will make you sit through 12 hours of
You
epic.
can't make me do anything.
I can. The door's locked.
I can't make you play Mass Effect. You can't. Make
I
me
still
do-
said I was gonna play it if you watch the
that-
Harry Potter movies.
When are we doing this?
Well, I was thinking actually January because I'll be having fewer shifts and
we have to do it when there's snow.
why?
because
Because
okay,
it's not usually always
To be
winter,
fair,
but it's
it-
always usually a winter movie.
he's only saying that because Harry Potter has like Christmas as like a one plot point of the movie, not plot point, but
Yeah,
like one
okay.
season in
In
the
ev-
movie.
in
That's
every-
just because
in
they go
every
through an
year.
entire year at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
That's really why. But I'm this whole fucking Christmas thing. I don't know what he's talking about. Don't worry about that. It doesn't have to be snow on the ground.
We're doing a podcast.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have fun cutting that out.
I was like, wow, we're talking about this way too
Yeah.
long.
It's fine.
So, any other closing statements about the Rise of Skywalker?
No, I enjoyed it, and it's no, but I'm gonna proceed to talk. About
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No, I don't have any closing statements, but
That being
when I was
said,
a boy,
that being said, I really enjoyed it, and it's gonna be sad because it's the end of a saga.
Yeah, I
But
just realized that.
at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like maybe it's for the best.
Yeah, I'm fine with this being the end. I'm also fine with the 3-year hiatus we're getting from Star Wars movies.
Yeah, it's sad because this is the last one John Williams is ever going to compose. He's done. He actually had a cameo in this movie.
Yeah, I heard. Wasn't he like the bartender?
He was the bartender, yeah. And
My boy.
the really depressing thing, I've been thinking about it too. This is the last time we're probably ever going to see Luke Skywalker.
It is.
It's the last time we're ever going to see Leia, obviously.
Yeah.
It's the last time we're going to see
Lando.
Han.
And that's the most
Lando.
impressive. It's like the
Chewie.
end.
Last
of
time we're
the
going to
saga.
see Kylo and all
Any
these
other thing is
characters,
gonna
and
be-
it's the last time because I've been cleaning theaters at work, obviously.
I'm just
and-
interested if they're gonna go for future movies,
no
in
I
the
don't think
future
they
route,
will.
or they're gonna bring it back
No,
during Clone
I-
Wars.
Hopefully.
I want them to explore the Old Republic
Yes.
because we had that originally.
Well, that was never confirmed. It was just
They-
assumed.
They backed out of it.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying the whole Old Republic
Oh, yeah.
specifically
Yes,
was
that's
just a
fair.
rumor.
Yeah, that's true. But like when I've been cleaning theaters, because the finale of, because you know how like every Star Wars like soundtrack has the finale as the thing where it's
Yeah.
like all the music that played throughout the movie. The finale of Rise of Skywalker is all the key music from the
Yeah.
original trilogy.
Yeah, was there
And-
any original good tracks in this? Because
Yeah, I like Rey's theme.
is that new?
Yeah, that's new.
I don't
and
remember what
the
the theme sounds like.
So
So
do 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 do. Then there's like the finale when she's burying the lightsabers and it's that do 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 do
Ah, yes.
like that and then
of course,
yeah, like, I remember these things. Music fucking
Ah, yes.
connects
The
to me.
do.
My favorite.
Do.
Hey man,
It's like the Mr. Krabs. What's that one song that goes beep boop bop beep beep boop? Oh, you mean the one that goes?
all right, you know what? I don't need this, okay? But no, like as I'm cleaning theaters, the Imperial March comes on, and I'm like, and you just sit there and you think about it, and like, you know, the people have been watching the Star Wars Skywalker series since the '70s, and it's kind of sad that it's over. I'm happy that it's over because Disney can't screw it up any worse.
Yeah.
But then like a part of me is like, if JJ just had it, the trilogy as a whole, then maybe it might have been, you know, just all mediocre or good. I don't know. Like if they were all
Because the
friggin'
events
as good
of
as
The
The
Last
Force
Jedi
Awakens
were
were, I'd still
massively-
consider that a successful trilogy.
Because
It's better than the friggin' prequels. They have like it's 2 out of 10, 2 out of 10, and then like a 7 or 8.
Excuse me, it's a 4 out of 10,
Oh my
5 out
God.
of 10, and a 10 out of 10.
Still, you're saying that this
It's
movie
better than this trilogy.
You just gave Attack of the Clones the same rating of Rise of Skywalker,
Yeah.
and you gave Force Awakens a higher score than Phantom Menace.
Okay. And then we have a 0 and a 10.
Yeah,
That's 0.
there's a 0 in the prequels.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is.
Not even close.
Yes, there is.
Nah, sorry.
No, the Star Wars Holiday Special is the only other 0.
Okay, have you actually watched the holiday special?
Yes,
We're
It's not half
we're
bad.
discussing
No,
the
you
holiday
cannot
special.
talk
I
about
enjoyed
this.
it.
No,
I
you
actually
cannot
enjoyed
talk
it.
about this.
Discussing the
It's
holiday
enjoyable.
special.
No.
It's still probably better than The Last Jedi, though.
Anything's better than The Last Jedi. The Ewok movies that they came out with are better than The Last Jedi.
Exactly.
They could literally have
That's
a
why
movie
the sequel
of
trilogy is the
Kylo Ren
worst
and
trilogy.
Palpatine breakdancing, and I probably would like it more than Last
Dude,
Jedi.
connect Star Wars 2?
Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, these are our thoughts on the sequel trilogy and the Rise of Skywalker. As what?
I don't have any final thoughts. I see how it is.
I kept saying it and you didn't say anything, so I just assumed.
Oh.
that-
God.
Do you have any final thoughts?
It's a pretty good film. There you go.
You've already said this, so it's not a final thought.
Yay!
Hey!
Great! Hey! Babu Freak!
Yeah!
Babu Freak!
He's the best character in the sequel trilogy.
Babu Freak was funny as hell. I thought he was just gonna be another one of those like toys, just to sell toys. I mean, every series has that though. Ewoks were made to sell toys. R2
Those little
toys.
annoying
Wow.
things.
Was he
The
planning
Last
on
Jedi?
toys when he
Boards?
made the first
Yeah,
Star
the
Wars?
boards.
All right, valid point then. All right, that's the case. Gungans.
Nobody wants toys of Gungans.
I do. So
George Lucas thought he did. All right, then. All the. Then this is the sequel trilogy, BB-8 and Porgs and
Yeah.
all
But you
that
see,
stuff.
some of them they make serve a purpose, like BB-8.
BB-8 does have a purpose, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's cute.
And that
But-
other little droid, I forget his name.
I don't
Dio.
know.
Oh yeah, Dio.
Nothing.
Dio doesn't really bother
Ronnie
me
James
though.
Dio.
He was actually voiced by J.J. Abrams. He was only gonna do one line, and he was like, I'll just give it to someone else." And everyone was like, "No, stop. Just you do the voice." And he's like, "But why though? I don't want." He's like, "Why do I need to do the voice?" And they're like, "Just do the voice. Do the roar." And he's like, "Okay, I guess I will." But no. All right, so that was our general thoughts on the sequel trilogy as a whole. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you already heard the whole ending card before we went into the spoiler talk of Rise of Skywalker, but just a little bit of a refresher. Just if you like what you saw here, we do have other videos out there. Just give them a watch, and if you don't like it at all, just thank you very much for the viewership of this singular video. It's technically support either way, and I'm grateful for it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next TGB video. Peace out, guys.
Bye guys.
Bye.